front-page stories the next day in almost every paper. And, of course, that all helped. It helped give us a curious sort of momentum, and we just started the channel 24 hours later.
Good evening. This is BBC Two.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Brits, 89.
She's out of control already, I can tell. I've got to control this woman. I've got to control her over here.
Oh, that was a good start, wasn't it, Mick?
Tonight, Bookmark comes live from Stationers' Hall in the City of London for the presentation of Britain's most important literary prize, the 1983 Booker McConnell Award for Literature.
Now, you had 100 books to read. Yes. Did you read all of them?
Of course I did.
How can you choose? I'm pleased to hear that.
We've seen a bevy of newcomers, a riot who look set here to stay. Ross! Campadinis! Brother Beyond and more!
Many more, right?
Madam, can I ask you what you think of the choice of the winner?
I was one of the judges. Does that excuse me from
I'm sorry about that. What's your name?
Angela Scott.
Hello.
Tonight, they're totally compos mentis, whatever that means, I don't know, here in London. The fabulous, the legendary, the sensational, the photo. Hello.
Welcome, George.
Yes, tell me, what do you think?
It's a very powerful and impressive novel.
Was it your choice?
You shouldn't ask a question like that.
From Selina Scott and from me, a very good night.
Georgina, Miss Wishaw, Linda, Miss Greenock, Anne, Miss Coatbridge, Lorraine, Miss Glasgow East, Patricia, Miss Ballock, Angela, Miss Bathgate, and Lena, Miss Edinburgh Central. Carol Margaret, Miss Dundee, Elaine, Miss Arbroath, Yvonne, Miss Kilmarnock, Jackie, Miss Glasgow South, Elizabeth Joy, Miss Paisley, Christine, Miss Johnson, and Jackie, Miss Aberdeen.
Well, here I am back in the Midlands looking for some of the people you'll be seeing a lot of in the very near future. I believe two of them are shopping around here at this moment. And here they are, Kitty Jarvis and Meg Richardson. How do you do, Kitty?
How do you do?
How do you do, Meg?
Hello.
Meg, I believe you run a motel. That must keep you pretty busy.
Oh, my goodness, it does, especially when business is like it is the next few weeks. The book's absolutely solid.
And you still find time to do your shopping in the town?
Well, I've got to, you see, because I've only got a teenage daughter helping me. My schoolboy son isn't a lot of use. And we're expecting a Spanish cook. Oh. But I've got a special do coming up, a wedding, and I'm looking for champagne and lobsters for it. So if you'll excuse me, I think I'd better get on.
Certainly, I won't keep you.
See you later, Kitty.
Goodbye,
Bye-bye.
It's love to look at ladies and put their clothes on.
I think I probably originated the idea of doing the Seven Deadly Sins, which has been done actually a fair number of times. I think it was what I call a dinner party idea, which is you all sit around and think it's a great idea for a program, and then someone turns around and says, do it. And you say, no, I didn't actually mean that, but by that stage it's got into the system.
But to help us to examine lust, we've got a man who wants a woman to be an angel to his friends, a nun in the street, and a whore in bed. We've got a nun, or an ex-nun, who climbed over the convent wall to discover lust for herself, plus an ex-pornographic movie star who became a legend in her own bedtime.
It sounds an interesting idea to have Linda Lovelace and Karen Armstrong, who's a former nun, sitting together.
Linda Lovelace and Karen Armstrong.
And then in the same studio you have a rock band who will sing. Someone had thought, let's have a line of bathing beauties, because that will look quite good on television. But when Falk comes up to them and says,
how do you define lust?
And then immediately after that you will walk over and have 6 members of the Salvation Army sitting there.
Is there lust in a Christian marriage?
They said no.
No, there's no room at all, I'd say, Bernard, to this, not for lust at all.
But they didn't say anything else, you see, because they don't have any views on it beyond thinking that it doesn't. So then they talked about their view. And this happened all the time.
Before we went on, I was sitting behind a curtain, and I was waiting for my cue, and Oliver Reed was sitting next to me. And he decided he didn't want to go on because he thought the format was completely wrong. And he told me this in great detail, very forcefully.
Oliver Reed and Charlotte Lamb.
So when we came on, he started going off towards the audience. And I had to grab his hand and literally make him go onto the set. He kept saying, "This is a disaster."
This was one of the first sightings of a very excitable, extremely excitable Oliver Reed being interviewed by Falk.
I love to look at ladies that take their clothes off. I love to look... I don't even give a jot whether fellas take their clothes off and jump upon them. I think that if that is lust, that's jolly good too. I think that if lust... Coming back to... No. A battle of conquest for a fellow...
It looked at one point as if Falk wouldn't be able to shut him up, but he did.
Ollie, I must talk to Charlotte.
He committed the deadliest sins in television of being both boring and banal. And so the first debate is as to whether or not there should be a programme too. But of course, you have to give it at least one more try.
Well, good evening. And covetousness this week.
And by the time I'd seen the cast list for the studio guests, I sort of sensed that the train was heading at high speed off the end of the tracks.
What do you covet now, John? You seem now to be moving back into a form of public life, making personal appearances.
Yes, I do it because you invited me. And
Yes,
I think you're a great guy.
Fame's not a bad thing anyway.
No, I think
Doesn't
that...
help pay the rent.
I think Bernard here has got a great idea for a program, and it's a live program, and I think we should all help live programs because that's what TV should be about. But you are...
Well, there was a lot of discussion between myself and Alistair Milne. I think Alistair perhaps might have wanted the programme off after the second show. But I said, let's give it one more throw.
Next week, a 26-stone bounty hunter from California, cookery expert Fanny Craddock, footballer George Best, and the commandant of a health farm. And the deadly sin is gluttony. So join us again next Saturday. In the meantime, have a good weekend. Ta-ra.
Here after his swan song at a Conservative Party conference is the Defence Secretary, Mr. John Nott.
Also tonight, on the eve of tomorrow's crucial meeting of Western shareholders.
On a programme in which Mr. Clive Ponting's views are presented as a serious representation of civil servants' views.
Could you just hold on a moment, Mr. Hester?
This was her response.
Yeah.
And the European Commission say this is quite false.
But why should the public on this issue, as regards the future of the Royal Navy, believe you, a transient, here today and, if I may say so, gone tomorrow politician, rather than a senior officer of many years?
I'm fed up with this interview, really. It's ridiculous, Roy. I didn't know anything about it.
Well, let me just... Can I just...
Which I will have any part in that program.
What do you have to say to that, Miss Jukes? Miss Jukes, I'd really rather like to hear that answer.
Well, I don't know whether you gathered what happened there, but Michael Heseltine has walked out.
Well, thank you, Mr. Nott.
Big Breadwinner hog was no flop. It was, for my money, a good series. We made one great error with the IBA, which I regretted at the time and I regret in retrospect. And that is that they had to have a synopsis telling them what happened in each episode. And for the first episode of Hog, I remember that the slightly violent episode at the end of episode 1 was described in the synopsis by saying there is a slight fracas.
You're never too old to learn that nobody hits Hog.